Would you like to learn which crypto altcoins across multiple narratives have the potential to 100 to 1000x between now and the next 9 months? I am going to be ranking multiple cryptocurrencies for their multiplier potential between 2x to 100x plus, which include coins that could 500 to 1000x. My name is the Suppoman, your superhero of 100 to 1000x gems. I have found the best multipliers in crypto of all time. And even in this bull market, where people have said that the bull market hasn't even started yet, I have made multipliers from 40 to 2100x. So if you love content like this, make sure you smash a like on this video and subscribe so you never miss out when I make one of my all-time multiplier calls. Now, a burning question on everybody's lips: is the 4-year crypto cycle dead? The 4-year cycle revolves around this graphic here, where we have a bull phase and then we have a bear phase. A 4-year process to complete the entire cycle. In my personal opinion, I don't think so. However, everybody now believes in the 4-year cycle, so if everybody believes in it, then it's too predictable. Only the top percentage make life-changing money. So if everybody is to expect a 4-year cycle, then naturally everybody should make money. The bearishness happening right now is designed to make people think the 4-year cycle's dead, stop investing. And so people sell and balance is restored. So the masses will miss out on the big pump at the end. Now, my personal opinion of what is happening right now is that Trump is intentionally crashing the stock market. My personal theory is that he wants to lower interest rates so that it is cheaper for the US to pay back its national debt. Trump is setting up a stock market crash. The US government needs to refinance $7 trillion in debt over the next 6 months. Trump doesn't want to do this at the current 10-year yields. This is why he's letting the stock market drop, and I think bringing the yield down is what's paramount to why the stock market is crashing right now. He is deliberately tanking the stock market to reward himself and his supporters. Trump has induced a market tumble so that he and his allies can buy the dip, buy stocks at a discount before the market bounces back. So, I mean, look, he has created a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a strategic crypto reserve full of top coins that have been dragged down in value. So it makes 100% sense that within the next 6 months, once the US have refinanced this debt, this is when the market is going to really pick up. And it nicely corresponds with the global liquidity cycle, which should peak around about September 2025. Now, you may be saying, well, Superman, we should buy now then. But it's not a question of whether you should, it's what you should. First, you have the money flow going into Bitcoin. It starts off slow, gradually goes up. Then, when Bitcoin hits 100,000, this is almost confirmation that there is a takeoff taking place right now. Once it hits a new all-time high of 110,000, that's confirmation. We are back. Once there is a takeoff phase, then we will start seeing narratives getting popular. And which narrative gets popular is where you should be buying. So let's say AI, on the ascendancy of Bitcoin going up to 100k, is also going to gradually go up. Once Bitcoin hits over 100k, the altcoin narrative will start accelerating. When Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, then it could be an immediate line upwards, where you are going to see the altcoin season starts happening because altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. It's better to buy here, but be certain of what the narrative is, than to buy here not knowing that AI is going to be the narrative. It could, for instance, be RWA. And AI would do something like this, which is not really go anywhere and not outperform Bitcoin. So you need to be sure you are buying into the trending narrative. As usual, nothing I say is to be construed as financial advice. Crypto is largely unregulated and high risk, and people who invest should be prepared to lose all their money. And everything I say to you in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. XRP is the third biggest cryptocurrency, $124 billion market cap. Now, I do not like XRP. XRP is centralized. Most of the supply is held by its founders. So this is totally not a decentralized cryptocurrency. Its main value is being a bank-based blockchain where it's easy to send large amounts of money across the world with very little in fees. And this is why XRP has such appeal. And not only that, but there is the XRP army. The XRP army makes such a noise. anybody that makes an XRP video, they get tons and tons of views simply because the XRP army are trying to create as much noise as possible to make sure that this pumps hard. But the price has been suppressed. This did make a decent multiplier of 6x, and where we are now is near the upper end of that. So in my personal opinion, a $124 billion market cap, I foresee that XRP could do a 3x from here. Jasmy is an Internet of Things cryptocurrency. People see it as the Japanese Bitcoin. Now, once upon a time, Jasmy was all the way up at $3.42, and now it is 1 cent. So the appeal is, this is well under $1. When people are buying this, they're thinking, oh, we could possibly get all the way up to $3 again and make a 300x. The market cap, back when it was $3, was tiny. That's why the price was so high back then. But now that there's more tokens in circulation, now we are seeing an all-time high for the market cap. That means that this has very little chance of making a massive multiplier, particularly when you have a look at the website. The website is one of the worst websites I have ever seen in cryptocurrency. It literally just shows the team. And yes, although the team have fantastic experience, former president of Sony Corporation, president of US Sony Engineering, and there's lots of fantastic credentials, to me, this just doesn't serve much purpose. This is not part of any amazing narrative. Internet of Things, no one really gives a crap about. So in my personal opinion, Jasmy, at $500 million market cap, when nearly every cryptocurrency I can think of is better than this, I would say that Jasmy, just purely because they can make a lot of noise, this can do a 5x. Beam is a layer 1 blockchain specifically for gaming. They were Merit Circle. Merit Circle was a games guild. That means that they were essentially helping people from impoverished countries being able to play these play-to-earn games and be giving them kind of cash rewards as a result. But in 2023, they rebranded to Beam. Beam allows for games developers to create games on the Beam blockchain. Now, when it launched, all of the big YouTubers were talking about it. Alex Becker, Elio Trades, Virtual Bacon, 2 million subscribers worth of noise being made right here. And this is why this pumped heavy from 2.04 all the way up to 4 cents. So this did a 10x. And it has since come right back down. In fact, recently it was nearly down to its all-time low. And now it's around about just under 2x from its all-time low. Beam's branding is very much like Apple back in the 70s, 80s. Look, they've even got the exact same typeface that Apple were using when they were advertising in the Financial Times. I think that Beam is actually quite promising. If you are looking for a relatively de-risked gaming gem, this one could be the one for you. And from where it is right now, this could easily make a decent 10x. Having said that, it relies on a gaming season. Hedera, like XRP, like Algorand, is another banker's favorite. This is another high-performance blockchain, arguably way better than the likes of XRP. They use directed acyclic graph, which is a very agile form of distributed ledger technology. So it's faster than blockchain. It doesn't rely on blocks. It pretty much processes in real time and is capable of 10,000 transactions per second. And another reason why I really like it is because it's got way more utility. It can serve way more narratives, with one of their key narratives being RWA. This one is likely to be in the Strategic Crypto Reserve, may even potentially be part of an ETF at some point. Very high institutional interest. The average cost is also incredibly low, arguably one of the lowest, actually, even lower than SUI. And if you have a look at all the companies that comprise the governance of Hedera, you see the biggest names in the mainstream technology world, like Deutsche Telekom, Hitachi, WorldPay, Tata Communications, IBM, Dell, Ubisoft, Google. Like, these are just household names. So you can tell that these guys are going to have a decent season. So I would say that Hedera Hashgraph, I would say from where it is right now, this one has definitely got the potential to do a 10x. Mantra is one of the most exciting RWA plays. Now, presently at a market cap of 6.21 billion, and this being a narrative play, this has not necessarily got a lot of gains ahead of it. Now, it has got a great value proposition, bringing the world's financial ecosystem on-chain, a purpose-built RWA Layer 1 blockchain capable of adherence to real-world regulatory requirements. Now, one of the biggest barriers with regards to RWA is that it's regulatory compliant, and they look like they have achieved that. And these guys definitely look like a top player in RWA with the likes of Chainlink and Ondo. And it's going to allow for the tokenization of real world assets, stocks, commodities, all the things that you want to have price exposure to. You can potentially create these dApps with Mantra. Having said that, this is not a general purpose blockchain. Something like ICP, which is much cheaper than this, I think has much more upside potential. So for me, I think that Mantra, where it is right now, is at the upper end of its popularity, 5x. Ondo is very similar to Mantra, an RWA infrastructure. Now this one is 2.6 billion, so around about 2.5 times less. A new era of financial inclusivity on chain. Now these guys are so heavily talked about. There is a partnership with BlackRock, which ultimately is the biggest name in RWA. One of the biggest names in the banking world. You know, these guys really led the way for the Bitcoin ETF. And they've also got Morgan Stanley as well, and probably way more big names to add over the course of time. Now, I personally am an investor in Ondo. I bought Ondo at about 22 cents, and where it is right now, it has come down quite nicely from its high. So that's about a 65% loss from $2. So it's come down nicely. Unlike Mantra, this one is not near the top of its popularity. I would say this one's also got a relatively decent chance of doing well. I would say that simply because of the market cap where it is right now, it really does rely on an RWA season. RWA is likely to have a strong season. You know, Donald Trump is very interested in RWA as well. So, you know, the narrative looks like it's poised to be pretty good. I would say if Mantra can achieve a 5x, then Ondo could definitely achieve a 10x from here. Bittensor is a layer 1 for AI. You are able to create AI dApps, AI ecosystems with Bittensor. And on a lot of occasions, you're able to get paid in Bittensor for being part of their network. I talked about Bittensor when it was $30. I was the first person on YouTube to talk about it. And at the time, I said that this cryptocurrency, even though the website is terrible, the actual value proposition of it is incredibly strong. And it remains strong even to this day. This is basically the Bitcoin of AI. And it's even got a similar circulation mechanism to Bitcoin with 4-year halvings. So I think that Tau is likely to do very, very well in this bull market. It's $2 billion market cap right now. I think that this is a relatively safe 5x on the assumption we do have a bull market. And I think that this could even go up to a 10x. But I would say that certainly 5x is achievable. Sonic was previously Phantom. Phantom is a high-performance blockchain capable of 10,000 transactions per second and sub-second finality, which makes it extremely quick, one of the quickest blockchains out there. Now, this was the brainchild of Andre Cronje, who is the godfather of crypto DeFi. He was the brains behind Yearn Finance. Now, previously, Phantom was a $3 cryptocurrency. And then when Andre Cronje left, this sucked out the value from Phantom. But he's now returned. And as a result of that, these guys are poised to have a great bull market, particularly as they've now rebranded and it's got a great name. Layer 1 blockchains with S in the name, Solana, Sui, they tend to do very, very well. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. I would say these guys need to do better marketing, but I would say that the rebranding has definitely made this a very fresh cryptocurrency that's likely to be talked about by all of the big YouTubers as one of those front-running layer 1 projects. From a 1.4 billion market cap, I foresee this doing a 10x. Kaspa is a unique layer 1 in the respect that it basically incorporates proof of work with DAG infrastructure. DAG stands for Directed Acyclic Graph, which is a distributed ledger technology that's extremely fast. It was invented by Hedera hash graph, and Kaspa have basically created their own version of it, where they have got the security of proof of work, but they've got the speed of DAG. Now, that makes this very unique, and this has been the reason why, since 2022, this has had a spectacular bull market, going from 302 all the way up to 20 cents. That makes it a 1000x. But having said that, even where it is right now, 1.74 billion, I would say this is relatively outdated. It just doesn't have anything spellbinding anymore. You know, what set it apart is why it exploded so much. But I think that a lot of the value has been priced in now, and I don't think there's a lot more to go with it. I would say that Kaspa, considering the noise that it's still making, I would say that this one's probably a 5x. Cookie DAO started as AI marketing and data analytics. This was basically looking to be the Google of cryptocurrency, but it has since become an AI infrastructure and an AI agent index. And they have even developed their own AI agents, which are meant to run a little bit like AI XBT, giving analysis on the market, giving data to its holders. So these guys have really exploded in relevance. These guys had a fantastic AI agent narrative going all the way from 2 cents up to 73 cents on a Binance listing. And that's what you've got to remember about this, is that this is on Binance. So when it comes to a bull market starting, the masses will go to Binance and Coinbase. And being on both, this will give it a lot of exposure and a lot of trading volume, I imagine. Now, AI is one of the biggest narratives in cryptocurrency. The likelihood is a $47 million market cap. This is basically a micro cap, because micro cap is under $50 million. So this is a micro cap cryptocurrency on Binance, AI agent, AI marketing. It's got so many threads that give this value. I would imagine that Cookie 3 has got the potential to do a 20x. Algorand is another banker-friendly, cross-border, fast transaction, low transaction fee, layer 1 blockchain. It's in the same class, the ISO 20022 cryptocurrencies that are bank-friendly, enterprise-grade. Again, these guys are likely to be potentially included in an ETF, the Strategic Crypto Reserve. It's got very, very strong foundations and fundamentals. Having said that, from its bear market lows, this has only really done a 2x. So I got this at around about 8 cents on around about its all-time low. So if you're watching me in the bear market of 2022, you would have seen that I bought Algorand. But I would say it's not necessarily had a great performance as of yet. I would say that this one has still got potential. 10x from here. Immutable X is a gaming infrastructure that came out in 2021. This was a layer 2 for Ethereum, but a layer 2 specifically designed for games and NFTs. So it allows for zero cost gas transactions. So it's got Ethereum security, but with absolutely none of the cost. So this was designed to be the mainstream gaming infrastructure. Now, as far as I'm concerned, where this was all the way back in 2021 was because they had a low supply back then. And when you've got low supply, it allows for easy price appreciation. Now, as lots more tokens have entered the market, this is now virtually fully diluted, but already a very high market cap for a gaming cryptocurrency. And it's relatively aged as well. So if there is a gaming narrative, I expect for this to not do terribly. I expect for this to go up. Having said that, I don't necessarily think it's going to go up amazingly. They have got some fantastic games that have been built with their technology. A lot of the games that are big in cryptocurrency, like Illuvium, Gods Unchained, Metalcore, Wagme, Block Lords, these are all got big names in cryptocurrency, partnered up or been created with Immutable X. Having said that, this is a very, very high market cap for what it does. If this was a layer 1 general purpose blockchain, I'd say it has more upside potential. But I would say Immutable X, even though I actually bought it in 2022, and I bought it for around about 30 cents. I bought it at the bear market lows. Now, it did have a good pump to $3 when there was a gaming season at the beginning of 2024. So having seen that it's gone up to $3, I would say, this is not forgotten. This is definitely, on people's peripheries when a gaming season happens. Having said that, there are way more games now. And as a result of that, I just don't foresee that Immutable X is going to do that great from here. Tars AI is an AI infrastructure for Solana-based AI projects. So think of this as almost like Bittensor for Solana. Now, the difference being is that Bittensor is in the billions, and Tars AI is a mere $30 million. And where it is right now is the best price it's actually ever been. We are very close to its all-time low. Its all-time low was 3.6 cents, and we are just 21% off that. One decent market crash, and this is going back to it. Now, Tars AI, this seems like it's got a lot of potential. Great website. These guys are actually endorsed by the Solana Foundation as well. Symbiotic AI app ecosystem dedicated to 1 million plus Solana users, the gateway to Solana AI. So think of this as almost like Fetch AI mixed with Tau. It's pretty much got everything. Partnered up with a lot of frameworks, Eliza being another one, which is an AI agent framework. I think a lot of the reason why they've gone down is because of the real death of Solana in the last couple of months. But I would say that Taz AI, for its value proposition, actually is very strong. I've never invested in this. In fact, to be honest, I've never looked at it. The reason I'm looking at it is because there were lots of requests in the last video. So make sure that when I ask for you to send in your requests that you do. And I actually think this is a potential gem. Right? I think this could really go places. Should we be having not only a bull market towards the end of the year, but also an AI pump, relevant in both AI and AI agents, and also AI GPUs. So these guys have distributed GPUs as well. These guys are basically everything you could want in an AI infrastructure. It's got everything for adapt. So therefore, I think that from a market cap of 30 million, albeit it's quite high for something that I would think has 100x potential, I think that this one could realistically do a 20x from here. So I'll say it could go up to 30x. As is a meme coin on Solana. This is a community-based coin. Very much like Tits. Now, Tits went up to nearly $200 million, and I covered it at 200k market cap. Now, there's only two anatomy parts that really matter, and that's Tits and Ass, right? Now, Tits went up to $200 million market cap, and Ass could be poised to do exactly the same. Now, Ass, where it did get to initially, was 40x more than it is right now. So it did get up to 2.4 cents, and now it's 305. So the upside potential just to get to where it was is gigantic. But having said that, seeing that Tits went up to nearly 200 million, I would say that Ass has also very similar potential. Decent amount of holders, and their Twitter is fully up to date. So these guys are constantly tweeting. Look, 19 minutes ago, 37 minutes ago, these guys are constantly tweeting. They are active. And part of the way to be a successful meme coin, particularly at a market cap of this level, is to just be around when the money is flowing in. Just be around, bro. So what happened when this went up to 2 cents was this was just around at the right time. You know, this was when Murad came along. This is when he was really, really shilling. SPX, GigaChad, and all these community cult coins, which is what We Love Ass is. And Tits was, and Tits did very, very well. Now, assuming the bull market comes back at the end of the year, and this is around at the right time and at the right price, which at 512k market cap is a steal, in my personal opinion, then I think that this one realistically could 100x. Think about it, 500k, 5 million would be a 10x, 50 million would be a 100x, 200 million, where Tits got to, would be a 400x. Now, I'm not saying it could necessarily go up to there, or it could even exceed there. It just has to be in the right place at the right time, right market cap, gets picked up by even more YouTubers, and sky's the limit. You know, this one could 100x from here. What you have to remember is memes that do extremely well have to have a general appeal, i.e. it appeals to a massive audience. And Ass does, just like Tits did. It may be considered sexist, but at the end of the day, crypto is a sausage fest. So it would not surprise me if this did as well as Tits did. Kolin is one of the most impressive AI agent technologies out there. Kolin represents a swarm of AI-powered influencers across a whole range of different subjects and genres. Kolin herself, as you can see, is an AI automated Twitter account that provides market analysis on a daily basis, and you can see is visually performing videos. And over time, I can see her doing live streams. I can see her being animated and being across other social medias too. An AI agent that you can talk to right now. If you go to Kolin Live and you have got 100,000 Kolin tokens, which at this point only cost $400, you can talk to Kolin. Kolin will analyze your portfolio, will give you market insights. At this present point, she is voice AI, but she is going to be physical in the future. She may even be 3D as well. But Kolin is not necessarily this character here. Kolin comprises of a load of different characters. So you've got characters within social, venture capitalist, trading, tech, global news, art, adult. So you may also see on the Kolin website, you can also speak to Sakura. Sakura is an adult AI agent. So you can do, well, all sorts of an adult theme. So you've got Sakura and you've got a ton of other different adult content creators, and you've also got media as well. So there are a bunch of different AI agents that come under the umbrella of Kolin. So at this point, you've got Kolin and Sakura, but you're going to have all of them potentially over time. To have as a visual personal assistant, to ask them to complete tasks for you, to ask them for information about all of these various sectors. Now, Kolin is so exciting. She actually featured on Crypto Banter. Crypto Banter had a full-fledged conversation. Crypto Banter has been in the market as long as me. He's been around since 2017, just like me. And he was asking her a ton of questions, and she was biting back, arguing back, debating on his choices, and he was sat there thinking, she's probably right. That gives you an indication of the quality of Kolin. Now, Kolin was at one point $40 million market cap, and at this point is only 4 million. Has gone down 10x, and even at 40 million, my first buy of Kolin was around about 25. So that means that I invested in her the first time at 25 million. I have since massively dollar cost average down on Kolin. And this is because I think that AI agents are here to stay. You know, you have got the big names investing in AI agents right now. And what we've got is technology that exists, that's ready to be partnered with in the likes of Kolin. And it's very, very attractive, just like Leah. Leah and Kolin, I imagine, are going to be battling for the top. Now, I personally think that Kolin's got so much progression to come. You know, what we've got right now is an ability to talk to her in real time. All you need to do is have a microphone set up, and you can talk to her right now. And Sakura. And over time, you're going to be able to talk to more agents as well. Be able to get much more depthy detail. So at 4 million, I think this is a travesty that a technology like this is only 4 million. Whereas something like AI XBT is a hell of a lot higher, 93 million. And AI XBT was at 1.1 billion. Now, I think that Kolin may not necessarily get to a billion, but I do think it's got a hell of a lot of upside from here. I think, like with Leah, I think this one has got 50x, potentially even more, potentially 100x. Morph AI gives you the ability to create AI influencers which can go viral across social media. Okay, you can basically give it the face you want of a celebrity, your face, a friend's face, anybody's face, give it the voice, and make them say what you want them to say. It's basically deepfake AI technology. And the reason why this has value is because there are many wannabe influencers out there. You know, people who don't necessarily have the face or the voice, but they do have the content to share out there. Whether it's funny content, whether it's serious or a trending subject, there's a massive gap in the market where these people cannot communicate with an audience. And that's where this app comes into the equation, because you can communicate through an AI influencer that looks exactly how you want it to look. And this was, once upon a time, a $25 million market cap. So this one has come down 20x. Now, this has been spoken about by me, Crypto Gains, Joe Parry's, and Overdose, and also Altcoin Daily, right? So these guys are very, very good at marketing. All they need to do is make sure that all that noise is being generated, and seeing as though they've got all of those influencers as contacts for when money comes back into the market, and being an AI agent play, this one has got tremendous upside potential. And not only that, but Morph AI are active. Look, these guys are posting all the time. Look, 5 hours ago was their last tweet. They are constantly improving and progressing the product. So if we go down to the bottom, you can actually see what you can create with Morph AI. You've got all of these various characters with someone else's face on it, right? So you are making content automatically and very, very quickly. Right, so what you've got here is you've got a series of different functionalities. So firstly, you create your AI, you give it the voice, you give it the face, you allow it to have voice sync as well, or sync morph, which aligns lip movements perfectly to any audio or text, and then you can manage 10 plus AI agents, okay? So I think this one's got tremendous potential, and the other good thing is because they are, you know, still active, and that's 90% of the battle, making sure you are there at the right time, right? That's 90% of the battle, is just being around, being current, and making sure that you are always innovating. This market is unforgiving. They are harsh. Retail investors are harsh if you are not constantly improving the product. And with Morph AI, they have got an app coming out very soon, a mobile app where you are able to create all of these visuals on your phone very, very easily, via an app rather than using, kind of a Telegram app at this point. So there's so much more to come with Morph AI. All it really needs is the right environment and, really provide the best product. Because look, if you look through a lot of the videos that they have published of their users, so their users, they've always got competitions where their users are creating videos of these AI agents with different faces. And they're fantastic morphed videos, right? All you need is for this to hit at the right time, the right market conditions, and this could blow up. And this did a 15x within the space of a couple of days. So all this needs is the right circumstances. And I think this one will blow the hell up, right? I think this one is a 30x at minimum, even higher than that. This one could do extremely well as long as they keep progressing the product. AI agent technology is getting so sophisticated. There's so many tools out there available for teams to be able to utilize this technology to make an even better product. And what I think it's going to come down to at the end of the day is in having this killer app that is impressive, that wows people, and then is going to make people forget about the cryptocurrency involvement in it and just think it's an awesome app. And it just so happens to be a crypto project. And Morph AI certainly has the ability to be one of them. And that concludes today's price prediction video. What was your favorite cryptocurrency I covered? Were there any cryptocurrencies you disagreed with where I saw the price going? And are there cryptocurrencies you want me to predict in my next video? I'm getting through these cryptocurrencies quite nicely, but as you can see, there are still many cryptocurrencies here for me to cover. But I'm always looking to add new ones. So make sure that you let me know in the comments, what cryptocurrency would you like me to talk about? Till next time, people, I've been the Suppoman. You have been amazing. It is lights out, all out.